Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. I am your host, Pearl, and today we are going to be talking about women getting falsely accused. But before we start, guys, if you want to support the show, go to our website and sign up for our monthly or yearly memberships. One yearly membership allows us to be YouTube free by the end of the year. Unless my YouTube rep is watching, then just disregard that. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the trend of women getting falsely accused. Normally, when you hear false accusations, you automatically associate them with men. Every day, men get put in jail because of the words and actions of vindictive women. And every so often, the tables turn and women have to face the possibilities of being falsely accused. That's what we are going to talk about on the show today. Back in 2022, Jack Wright accused Sienna May of sexual assault. We are going to go over the case and talk about which side you guys are on. Now, Jack Wright and Sienna May Gomez starred on a show called Hype House on Netflix based in LA. It was content creators living together, forging brand partnerships, and addressing online haters, drama. I mean, we've seen the streamer trend for a couple of years now. Now, 2 weeks after the show premiered, Jack Wright posted a video detailing the SA allegations he experienced from Sienna May. He accused Sienna of non-consensual touching while he was incapacitated and other inappropriate behaviors. After Wright posted his video, Sienna lost upwards of 300,000 followers on TikTok, denting her TikTok following of over 14 million at the time. Sienna made a video weeks later denying the accusations, and Netflix chose not to include her on the show because of the allegations. Now, Sienna's first response was a long-form article on medium.com addressing the entire situation. She wrote, "I apologize if there were times where I made you feel uncomfortable. I am sorry if I ever did triggering things and you have experienced or had any feelings of discomfort. But anything I did unknowingly, as our physical relationship on camera was of closeness and familiarity that I had known to carry on in our real lives. That said, there was a distinct line between that and sexual assault. I'm so sad that this is where we ended up, and even more so that I'm now being used in a new and even more hurtful way." The situation between Sienna May and Jack Wright fostered conversations about the backlash survivors receive when coming forward and the darker aspects of teenage internet fame. The back and forth between Sienna May and Jack Wright went on for months, and with more accusations of sexual assault against Sienna being levied against her by other male TikTokers that they were both associated with. Sienna May and her lawyer appeared on the BFF podcast along with a forensic expert and expressed the following: "There has been no police report filed. There has been no police investigation. There has been no civil complaint filed. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's all just a video online." Sienna May's lawyers spoke about creators' options moving forward, including suing multiple people for defamation. So we are going to go see the original video that Jack Wright posted. But before we do, today I have a special guest on the show. Our moderator, Doug MPA, is actually here in studio. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
How does it feel to be in person, see the show live?
Surreal. I've been a mod on your channel 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, since the beginning, and I'm actually here, so it's kind of a surreal feeling. But
Well, thank you so much for coming. So we're going to get into the video, but what are your initial thoughts on the situation?
on my channel, I always say that um, feminism. Okay, the world's never going to be fair for men, right? So
Mhm.
if women want equality, they're advocating for life to be just as difficult for women as it is for men.
Mhm.
So you're going to see more of this happening.
Yeah.
This is what they fought for. And
Do you have any sympathy?
no, I
Yeah.
want to see more women getting having to pay child support,
Yeah.
alimony, getting boxed up by the police, getting judo thrown by police when they shoplift.
Yeah.
I want to see, this is going to have to happen enough to women for them to want change in the laws.
Yeah, because there's no benefit of the doubt given to men. And it was interesting because when this went down, I was on TikTok at the time. That's where I started. And I remember just thinking it was kind of BS to me at the time, but no one gave her the benefit of the doubt. No one else had that thought. The public opinion was completely on the guy's side, which is so rare. That never happens. But when we see what he looked like,
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is like super Chad.
yeah, here, let's go to 3 minutes. I was thinking the only other man where the public opinion went on his side, and it wasn't even immediately, but Johnny Depp, where the
No,
public, and I know it's still mixed, but the public is more on his side than normal, right?
no,
Now.
no. At the time when she wrote that op-ed, that was literally, in the M2 thing. So no one really I mean, the people closest to him, and maybe some men did, but the general
Yeah.
public sentiment was against him at the time.
Yeah.
When,
Well, I'm saying now because
now.
yeah, because now, like, it's a little bit different than 5 years ago, and he's one of the men I've seen being at least retrospectively given the benefit of the doubt, and that was almost unheard of like 5 years ago.
I can see that, yeah.
And I only really would argue that he got that because he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a Hollywood heartthrob, and he's never really had any negative allegations or anything against him historically.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna play the video. Oh shoot.
I think his video was one of the reasons why I was okay and was able to not come out with like an aggressive statement like her. I was able just to, I knew the truth. I knew what she did to me. Sienna and I met 4 years ago in high school. She was dating my good friend. And basically it did not turn out well. She cheated on him 2 times, and it kind of like created this whole problem in her friend group. I'm the type of guy that's all for like...
Mind you, they were both 18 at the time when this happened 2 years ago, so they're both in their 20s now. So everything he's talking about, all this foolishness, was like when they were in high school.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Second chances with people, and I always try to see the good in people. I was in the Hype House. I was going back and forth from LA, and Sienna had just gone viral on a couple videos. She reached out to me and basically asked if I want to do an interview with her in LA, and I said, of course. We hung out, reconnected. I showed her around the Hype House, introduced her to all my friends, and I was happy for her, and we just had fun hanging out. I just want to clarify that we both knew that we're just friends. She was seeing and talking to other guys in LA all the time, and I just thought of her as a good friend. We were making videos, we were making dance trends, we had fun. It was just strictly friends, and we both knew that. At this point, nothing inappropriate was happening between us. We were just friends, everything was fine. This next part of the video is very difficult for me to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time. So the first incident where Sienna crossed boundaries, it was after filming. We went into the room. I was just chilling on my phone on the bed, and she got naked, like completely naked, nothing on, and straddled me when I was literally just chilling on the bed. But I didn't know what to do in like the situation because it was just like random and weird. Quickly told her, Sienna.
It's the first time I've ever heard a guy complain about a woman getting naked in front of him. I've never heard that as a complaint in my life.
Well, so I'm gonna,
especially like not like she's not ugly, you know what I mean? Like she's a good looking girl.
but also maybe, I don't know if he was this smart, but if you're working with a girl and your industry is social media,
Yeah.
you have to keep those lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it can start out nice and good, but then you have something going with her, and then she gets scorned, and then she rips everything. Then she burns the whole house down.
Yeah. And, the simps are always going to believe her. So, as most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years, but I need to tell you about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues we discuss on this show. Did you know the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every single week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average, so it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what it was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at CHOQ.com are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's Male Vitality Stack contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code.
Get off. We're just friends. Stop. They're trying to make out with me. They're like just doing a bunch of things to me. And I kept on saying, Sienna, stop, get off. I didn't want to be aggressive. I didn't want to hurt her, So I pulled her off of me, and it took a couple of tries because I didn't want to be too rough. And I went out of the room, and that was the end of it. The next morning, where she was like, I'm so sorry for doing that. I don't know what went through my head. I had to clarify again that I didn't like her that way. We were just friends. She said sorry. That was it. After that, these type of things kept happening. She would do something and I would forget.
Okay, but it's why do you keep... It's the same question I ask the women. Why do you keep going back if she's assaulting you all the time? I don't know. Do you believe him? What do you think?
I think that I'm gonna stick with what I said originally. I think he had a responsibility to keep her off. I don't think that. I think if they weren't in a social media thing, it would have been just normal stuff. But I think he had a greater. So I think that she did come on to him because before the show I watched some of the old TikToks and stuff, and she looked like she was more interested in him. I mean, she did a TikTok called "I Love Jack Wright," straight up. You know what I'm saying? But I think he just wanted to hold the line and say, I can't, because, especially with her track record. So I think that she did something, and I don't think it was inappropriate, but he had to hold the line.
Yeah.
The whole, them working together and stuff. So and they're technically co-workers in a house on a show, so that could be.
Oh, I see.
Give her, and she said it wouldn't happen again, and we would go on and making fun videos. After all those type of things kept on happening, the Hawaii incident happened where I was passed out unconscious almost the whole night. She got on top of me, took advantage of me, groped me. I'm so glad they pulled her off of me, and honestly I'm glad that they have evidence. After Sienna found out about the video, she said sorry. She said if this got out, she would be done. That is horrible, and she's working on boundaries, and she was seeking therapy.
Pearl, I want to say one thing. There have been an influx of female teachers, essaying young male students,
Right.
and I hate when guys are like, "Whoa, she was hot." So no, minors are victims under the law, and because that could extend further out. Women, if this would have been a man and these allegations were
he was cooked.
So
done. Yeah.
Men have to be able to do the same thing. Use the same tools that women use. It is fair play now, guys. This whole thing of men having to hold the the higher ground? No. If a woman assaults you, press charges, guys. Press charges. Don't let these women get away with anything. So the only way they're going to learn is if this happens to enough women.
Yeah. The website, by the way, guys, if you want your comment read, you go to the live chat on the website, and then I do read them. Craig says, Pearl's been funny lately. Keep it up. Thank you, Craig. Johnny says, Pearl, no one ever wants to mention the lower rate that women pay for life insurance. Can I identify as a female and buy insurance at that rate? Not equality, but by any means, equality is impossible in this society. In Moby Dick, a preacher gives a sermon that includes this. Pearl, Jonah did the Almighty's bidding. And what was that, shipmates? To preach the truth in the face of falsehood. That was it. It's what you do. Never stop. Thank you, Johnny.
And shortly after, there was a party. I was taking pictures with a couple other girls. We took a picture. Sienna came in, started screaming at me, got mad at the girls, told me to come to her room to talk to me. She started screaming at me, and I was like, Sienna, there's no reason for you to be mad when you're getting with other guys in LA. I can't just take a simple picture with a couple girls. That's when she pulled me in and grabbed me and tried to make out with me. And I got pissed and told her to leave. I wanted to stay at the party, and she kind of had already been yelling at every single person in the party. So 2 friends wanted to take her home, and while the car was moving, she jumped out of the car, rolled, and said, I have to get back to Jack. So I ran back to the house, and I was like hiding from her, and I was just waiting for her parents to finally pick her up. Looking back now, I don't know why I stayed friends with her, stayed around her. I truly thought she was gonna change for some reason. I feel like she'd say she had so much love for me and that she truly cared for me, and then the next night she would do something like that. She knew I had those boundaries. So when I was at my most like vulnerable state, like when I was arguing, getting heated, or when I was asleep or passed out, that's when she would take advantage of me, because she knew I was at my most vulnerable state. When I'm awake, I hated it. I hated that touch. I hated any intimacy with her because I knew we were just friends. I didn't want that from her. And especially with like the past couple things she did, I didn't want anything to do with that. Over the next couple of months, I was stuck in this toxic cycle. I was stuck with her crying to all my friends, saying that I didn't like her back, and why don't I like her back, and
see right
she'd
there,
get mad at me.
These social media women, guys, you gotta avoid women where their industry is content.
Yeah.
They're the craziest ones. Well, minus Pearl. Pearl's great.
It's okay. No, look, I've seen a lot. I agree
Yeah,
with
you understand what I'm saying, right? So
I've
it's
seen
like,
a lot. Oh
guys,
my God. I've seen women leave their families for social media.
yeah,
It's
who's that one girl that just she does the interviews with celebrities, the white girl?
Oh, Bobby Altoff.
Yeah, who smashes all the rappers now? Isn't she like late 30s and she had 2 kids and she walked away from her?
No, she was young.
Oh, okay.
She was like 26.
But she
So
still
2
had 2 kids.
yeah.
And she left her husband to freaking get dug out by a bunch of rappers.
Drake.
Yep.
Me for not caring about her as much as she cared about for me, but she'd also be doing these things to me. I would go see other guys in LA, so it was like couldn't win at all. I couldn't get out of this. She would constantly come to my house, remember my door codes. It got to the point where I had to like start screaming at her to like get out of my house, because I was so sick of her just like breaking into my house. I would wake up and see her car just sitting outside at like 2 in the morning. She would break into my house, and when I was sound asleep, she'd come into my room, and I'd wake up to her hand in my pants, and it wasn't like the only time it happened too.
I'm sorry. I don't believe him. I know you're saying like press the charges against the women that do stuff. I don't believe the women either, though. I don't believe anybody. Like if she was harassing you, then stop being around her. The same way, I'd say the same thing to the women that claim they were abused and blah, 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 but you were with him for 3 years? Get out of here.
So, okay, a guy like this, do you think, because a lot of women have beta male orbiters.
Yeah.
Because they like the attention, right?
Yeah.
do you think it goes for guys like him too, where
Yeah,
they're
they
addicted
do.
to the attention? And the reason why they don't cut the woman off is because they know that the woman likes him and he just wants that.
Yeah. No, totally. But like I think it's your responsibility. Like if somebody is like if somebody's treating you a certain way and you don't like it, but you keep signing up, I'm like, why are you like it makes me think it maybe wasn't as bad as you're saying if you signed up for 2 years. And I think the same with women when they say they were like abused, but you were with him for like 5 years.
Yeah. Or they were in toxic relationships, yeah, for like 7.5 years. Are you serious?
Or it's like, were you doing anything like to make her think that maybe it was more? I don't know. Like, but I say the same thing to women, you know. I don't know.
I was so like used to it. I was so used to it that I don't know. It was just like normal for me that I didn't think there was such like a problem at all. Like part of me wants to blame myself for being nice and sticking around after so many times. But now I realize that I was stuck in this like manipulative cycle of her acting like she extremely cared about me, and then that night she would do stuff to me, and it was just so normal for me. I got used to it, which sucks. I feel
What parts of this do I believe? I do believe she was hitting on him. I do believe that. I do think he's over exaggerating. I think it's gonna go both ways. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fence sitter today.
Just real quick, so how because these people all have a team around them,
Yeah.
right? So I wonder how the conversation went before he uploaded this video. Because he had handlers like kind of directing him
Yeah.
on what to say,
Yeah.
and then like the timing of it. What do you think motivated him to put this video out?
Well, in her video, she said that it was she wanted to stop making videos with him. That's what she said.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
yeah, that's
that.
what she said in her video. You didn't see it? Like she said that she wanted to stop making videos with him because it was too like confusing for her. And she just like liked him and like if you don't want to date, I'm done. And I think she was going to make a video, right? And I think
Saying that they're not going to do content together anymore.
yeah, and I think
Oh,
he maybe was scared that she would claim some of the things he's claiming. And so maybe he hit the ground running because when a girl's making a video, even if she says it's not going to be mean about you, you don't know.
yeah,
Women are so vindictive. So he's like, oh shit, she's making a video about me. She has the power to ruin my career if she wants
yeah.
to.
Because women will air you out.
Yeah, let me ruin hers first.
Yeah, and you guys remember, women will make a result or say a result, so they'll say something happened, leaving other women or the court of public opinion to try to figure out a cause.
Yeah.
So she could have said, "Oh, we're not doing content together anymore because something's happened between us." And it's like, "Oh man," and then they're automatically going to assume that something bad
Yeah,
happened.
where if a man
Oh
if
man,
a man said it, they would just be like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
like no one should have to go through. It's weird. I almost feel like I
So,
owed.
real quick. So, do you think that him preemptively putting out this video was a good thing or a bad thing?
At the time, good. I mean, look at this shit. This got 23 million views. Even her response got 2 million back. I mean,
Man.
it's kind of backfiring a little bit now, but I don't, because here's what I think. I think they probably flirted with each other. She probably took it too far. Unfortunately, like I kind of think most of those laws are bullshit, but they are the laws. So I don't know. Like, I think they both probably could have said essay because of how broad that term is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, that term is so broad that if either of them wanted to, they probably had something.
Yeah.
Like, if she went to the internet first, she could have, like, because their relationship was so flirty, I'm sure there was something.
And
You know?
also, remember, people always remember the first version of the story first.
Yeah.
And then she's been on defense this entire time, which is why there are other people in the space, the reputable space, that say if your wife says anything about divorce, go to the file for
Court
joint
file,
custody,
yeah,
or
file
you
first.
should file first. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Owed it to her for some
I said,
reason.
how could she say essay? Well, I mean, there's tons of like, the thing is, there's so many videos of them together. I am sure there is one out there that exists where she could say it wasn't consensual. Like the same way Blake Lively made up a whole thing saying it was not consensual. At first, the entire internet was on her side. But now the tables are turning. Women can't really do that the way that they used to. So
I don't know why. Like I felt like she had this like control, like this power over me. It was all, I don't know. I was like stuck. And I feel like you should never have to like worry about like falling asleep and waking up to one of your good friends like touching you, you know? I was like terrified for some reason, which you shouldn't be from like a person. One night she started ripping off my clothes, touching my crotch area, trying to make out with me. I mean, it was just like same old, same old. Like I'd say, Sienna, stop, go back to the couch, Sienna, stop. So I like locked the door. She was trying to get in, and I literally just slept on the floor, and she finally went to bed. It's like very awkward the next morning, and she'll say sorry, and I'm like, Sienna, this happens so many times. Like, you do not respect boundaries. You just, oh my God. So my dad was born and raised in Hawaii. So we planned a trip to the beach house my dad grew up on in Hawaii. And Sienna's family basically planned the same trip on the same dates. They left a couple days before us, and we were supposed to leave on a certain date. But I didn't want to leave because she already left to go back home, and I did not want to be at home with her because I know she'd find a way to start hanging out with me again. So my mom got a text from Sienna's mom saying that Sienna is on a plane taxiing right now. Hearing that she was coming back, it was like, this cycle is never gonna end. It's like, it's gonna be like this forever. That's what it felt like. She was always gonna make her way back towards me. She wasn't respecting my space at all. She knew I wanted my space. There's another time I went to Hawaii with a couple friends for like my trip, and she kind of found a way to get on that trip. And we went to a party one night. She got mad that I was talking to some girls, and she took me into the bathroom to talk to me, saying that she wanted to leave. She was blocking the door, so like I couldn't just like throw her out of the way. All I had was, stop, Sienna, don't do that. If I come out, she will like scream at me in front of everyone and think that I did something. I mean, I feel like no one believes a male, especially in like that type of situation. But yeah, she was on the counter and wrapped her legs around me and started like, let me out of the bathroom. Yeah, just weird stuff. That night we went home, made sure we had like different rooms to stay in. And I got in the shower, and she picked the lock of my door. I made sure to lock the doors, but she picked the lock and walked in. I was in the shower. All I heard was just like the door opening. And
what, Doug?
Okay, do you believe any of this, Pearl? Any at all? Because I mean,
maybe some of it. Maybe I would say it's half true but over exaggerated. That's what I would guess.
I always say look at things at like a 30% validity rate and see how crazy it sounds. It's starting to get to the point where even at 30%, this is sounding kind of crazy.
Okay.
That's when I was just done. I screamed at her, told her to get out. She started crying. She went and slept in my bed, and I went to my friend's trundle bed that was like upstairs, and that's how like the night ended. So now we're caught up to when everything went public, when Mason posted his tweet. Since everything was brought to social media, multiple guys came out to me and said that Sienna did similar things to them, and
To a point, Wait, she made me really uncomfortable. I was drunk, sleeping on a couch, and woke up to the homie saying, "What the F?" because she just got in on top of me and was kissing my neck. I don't want this to go anywhere, but I want to tell you, Sienna low-key essayed me when I was hella drunk, and I was talking to a different girl probably 6 months ago. Sienna low-key did the same thing to me at a party. That was my house. That my house was throwing. Jack was there. I was drunk, and so was she, but I was talking to her and she grabbed my face and started to make out with me. And I was trying to push her off, but I never told her I wanted to kiss her or anything. I was so uncomfortable. This was before they were even a thing. Okay, I don't want to make it public. Okay.
Basically, I'll show the text right now. I asked all of them for permission to post, crossed out all their names. We don't want her to hurt anybody else. We don't want anyone to go through that experience. At the time, it feels humiliating. You feel like you have no power. You have no control in the situation. You feel, I don't know, it's horrible. I just want to start off by saying that
Okay, so that's his side of the story. How much do you believe?
Well, my starting point is, I want to see more women accused. That's it. So, guys, mount up, man. I'm telling you. So I'm automatically going to take a side because I think more women need to be made an example of.
Mhm.
But I just think that he enjoyed the attention. I think that if he wasn't a super Chad, any regular guy would have liked to have gotten the amount of attention he got from like that kind of woman.
Mhm.
But then also, she's like, so I believe that something happened.
Mhm.
She's probably has gotten away with most things most of her life.
Mhm.
And then has probably gotten most men that she wanted. Then this guy, Jack Wright, she likes him and he keeps saying no. And she probably did the whole thing where if I just keep trying harder and harder. So yes, I do think something happened.
Okay, so after this, she made a video titled "I Hope They Cancel Me."
So just real quick. So she didn't come out with a video to address this. She wrote a long form article on medium.com
Yeah.
that put the whole thing out. But I'm pretty sure she went to her handlers and but while they were writing that, she put this video out.
Okay.
I hope they cancel me. Why? So I can go be with my family. Why? So I can quit wearing this mask, dog. Telling people kiss my ass, dog. I hope they crucify me. Why? I hope they put me down. I hope they euthanize me. I hope I never ever have to go on TV. Motherfucker Jimmy Kimmel does not want to meet me. I told my manager, no more parties in Los Angeles. As of right now, my job is to lie down. I hope they cancel me. Why? So I can go be with my family. Why? So I can quit wearing this mask, dog. Tell them.
The music, yeah, it's okay.
I started again.
What?
I mean, if you have copyright music, you have to pause it every 5 seconds.
Oh, every 5. That's okay. Yeah. So then, her YouTube channel starts losing a bunch of subscribers. Her same with TikTok. She didn't post for 3 years. So let's see. Her most popular before this was 1.2 million views. And then before this, she was getting like 29K a video. So that's a really steep drop off. 70K 3 years ago. Okay. Then you got TikTok, same thing. So she's getting real canceled on this. She like loses. Trying to go before all this happened. Like 500,000. Okay. Okay, now here's Sienna's and her lawyer at the time.
Girls, welcome to the BFF's YouTube channel. Make sure you guys tap the bell, subscribe.
Vehemently deny, and it's been an ongoing, people love me, people hate me, everything. This look is unusual. I'm going to say that right off the bat because like having your lawyer and
I
the
love
forensic
Dave.
guy is weird.
He's a little bit of a super simp, but I
So,
do love him.
Just so you know, Dave Portnoy, he had false allegations against him
Oh,
that
really?
he had to beat. Yeah. And I don't know the story. I just saw that, one of the reasons why he wanted to platform her was because he had to face false
Yeah.
accusations. So that's why they had her on the show.
Never done that, but it's your choice. But I do
Yeah,
want to say,
I came in and I was like, holy shit, am I in the right Zoom room?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I feel you.
Like a sort.
so is this your choice or their choice to be like, we want to be on the call with you?
It's a little intimidating, I feel you, but no, I want to talk about my emotional state, and like I feel like what I want to touch on is like how I'm doing and like the emotional questions that I know you guys are gonna ask. But as for like,
Take a shot whenever she says
legal-
like, guys. Take a shot whenever she says like.
So, yeah, she wants to go over her feelings, not the facts of the case.
and like the so what's going on questions, that's for them to answer, because like I don't want to, I'm trying to, I don't want to butcher anything. This is all like, now it's serious, like social media.
So
yeah.
along those lines then, is there some sort of official legal proceeding going on right now?
So I'm going to take that. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on. No,
That's her
and
lawyer.
that's really
Not now.
the point. There has been no police report filed. There has been no police investigation. There's been no civil complaint filed. There has been absolutely.
But for men, nobody cares if there's no case.
So can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
So remember, this is the court of public opinion
Yeah.
where men get crucified,
All the time.
lose everything. Okay. And this lawyer on multiple interviews and made sure to emphasize no civil charges, no criminal charges, no nothing. But this is the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
You don't need a criminal case to get canceled.
Mm.
And this cost her a lot so, you can't control what happens in the court of public opinion. And she had to find that out the hard way.
Yeah, and she was getting like $100,000 brand deals before this. Like at the rate she was at, she was probably making $100,000 per post at how famous she was before. And so it's like you don't get internet money and you don't and not get what comes with internet money. Like people always complain about being canceled when you get to make money on the internet. Like it's a privilege. Most people don't get it. It's like celebrities that complain about being famous. Don't make famous money then. you know what I mean?
True. It's true. Hey, go lay concrete instead of making money on the internet. How about that?
Yeah.
Nothing by way of an investigation or any kind of legal proceeding filed. Honestly, at the end of the day, this is all just a video online.
Right. So then that begs the question, if there hasn't been a legal issue, like, why are you here? She can't, there's nothing going on. She could theoretically answer for herself.
Because obviously there have been allegations made, right? Obviously there have been legal allegations made. And at this point, after so long of just going back and forth online, and it's all just social media talking back and forth, it was time to actually bring in some professionals who are going to talk about what's really real. And what's real is that there's nothing out there.
Okay. I personally, again, as somebody, I think this almost makes it seem like something's real by involving legal when there is no legal, but that's just my take. I always think it's better to hear from the horse's mouth. I always get when someone says, I can't speak on it, there's a legal proceeding going on, it'll be used in court. But there isn't. We're not there. So that's my personal off the jump with this. What's that?
I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes.
I totally understand what you're saying. But I think that with how blown out of proportion this has all got, it's now to the point where I just can't even deal with this stuff anymore. It's literally just me kind of focusing on my emotional state. And then as everyone's what's going to happen next? Oh, she's 18 now. I turned 18 a month ago. She's 18 now. Is something going to happen? I just kind of all right, I'm gonna let my team just talk about this one and kind of take this one, because it's just not even worth it for me to,
Yeah, and obviously, Josh Bree, feel free. I do think in a situation like this, and I've watched everything, I've seen everything, and we've said in the beginning what we felt, and I think we got crucified. I tended to be.
Yeah.
I looked at it on my side. It's like just
No,
a little.
I really appreciate you for that.
Well, and it wasn't even necessarily like because we'd met or spoken. I was just.
No, I don't
thinking,
think it was like a favor or anything.
Yeah,
I think
it was
just
like if
looking
my
at the
girlfriend
video
did
and
that in a
being like,
second, I would never. It's a nothing issue to me. Like if I'm sitting there, and my girlfriend climbs on me. Now, there's been all dispute on where this is going back. I will say the seriousness of these allegations both ways. I think it's kind of disgusting that it's being played out on social media when it's getting that serious, because those are serious things and nobody knows what's right and wrong. Like you said, there's nothing.
But when women do it, they're not crucified for it.
Yeah.
And they play out it
He
on
says
social media.
He
yeah.
says that it's disgusting. He never would have said that about a man.
Yeah.
filed. So, but it has gotten to this point. Even
And this is fast forward 3 years later, but he was the one who crucified Zach Bryan and let that completely play out. I don't know if you saw the episode, but one of the girls that's on the show later dated a country superstar.
Yeah.
And on the
remember
way
he-
out
yeah.
said that he emotionally abused her, some bullshit. And Dave completely simped and like put her on and did a whole episode about how he was abusive and how none of them liked him. Da 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 da. Yeah. And that's why I said I really do like Dave, but he is a super simp sometimes. Sometimes he simps.
even this interview is very unlike BFF, so we want to treat it delicately.
yeah. Well, especially because I feel like when you just keep bringing this attention kind of to the not you necessarily, Sienna, I just mean like when people keep bringing the attention to the situation, it just gotta fuck up two people's mental health. Like you and Jack can't be in the greatest mental health place when it's like this stuff is just constantly being brought online and just being talked about, and then everyone's giving their opinions on you and what you should do and how you should live your life, kind of.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, if I'm being totally honest, I literally haven't been on my phone the past month. Like, I know that there's been like thousands of like YouTube videos, TikTok videos about me and just who people think I am and just talking about like just my character. And I haven't seen anything, and I just know that there's like, I don't know. It's like I obviously am not doing, 100%, because how could you be when
This is a terrible look for her. She shouldn't have gone on this show.
Well, because the thing about it is men, when they have an allegation against them, it's a different kind of shock. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like now because she's saying like.
Hmm.
This is genuine shock where she didn't think this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Men, so many men have been falsely accused
Mhm.
that they're shocked at having to figure out how to handle it. But she's shocked that this is even happening to her in the first
Yeah.
place. So this is a whole different look on her face. And she's just
And she
can't believe
doesn't
it.
know, like men know that their words will be used against them, so they shut up.
Yeah.
And
Women just talk.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because she now is trying to figure out how to talk without having it used against her, and she can't figure it out.
But her biggest hurdle in this, and I don't, is how does she tell her truth
Yeah.
while not saying anything incriminating? Or
Yeah.
When in cases of false accusations, everything could be used against you.
Yeah.
there's like just so much hatred, and like literally just so much cyberbullying. On both parts, I could totally.
I got no sympathy for people on the internet who get cyberbullied, even myself. It's just like we asked to be here. Nobody's putting a gun to your head and making you come on the internet. If you go on the internet, you're going to get hit pieces. You're going to get cyberbullied. Either deal with it or don't. Like, you don't get to make internet money without the cost of internet money. You do not get both. You get either the internet money and no criticism in your day-to-day life, nobody looking at your personal life, or you get the internet money. It's one or the other. You don't get both.
Do you think like you bringing in the lawyer team and everything, do you think that's going to bring more attention to the situation, or do you think that's to like kind of quiet people down, or it's going to quiet people down?
I think it is going to quiet people down, because it's just like, I literally have my lawyer sitting right here next to me telling you guys and whoever's going to see this now that there's nothing being done. Like, you can't just claim with no credible proof, because yeah, you guys have never had
Yeah,
anything
you
like this on
can.
BFF.
See, there's a shock and awe right there. She's literally in shock that this person said these things about her, and the reason why she has her legal team there is because she's getting hit in her pocketbooks. That's why. I guarantee you, after this, all the money she shut off.
Yeah, she was cooked.
So she's wondering, why am I having to pay for this when it's just words? But how many men have had to suffer through this?
I mean, men lose their whole careers.
Yep.
Probably never had, or very few, I don't even know, had people being accused of like an actual crime, like an actual.
I actually have been in a very similar, in which there's no, I'm actually reverse. Like, if people follow me, I'm actually suing. Like, it's very unusual because I've been accused of things. Usually it's defense, and it's so untrue that I am now suing the people saying it. I'm the one who initiated. So I get it. I totally get that. I don't know that and I was trying to prove a point. So I get the lawyer. I read through all, and we'll get to all this stuff. A lot of it seemed like things you already said, but even backing up, because I haven't heard you say it. What the strangest part of this to me, I guess, is like you and Jack, like when you were on with us, you guys seemed like two peas in a pod, the original.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys were like dating and everything, had like a relationship going.
So like, do you have, if you look back on this, are you at any point like, oh, I should have seen a red flag there, that something was off with this relationship, or are you totally caught off guard?
And were you guys actually dating or never actually dating?
No, so we never actually dated. And sorry, you asked if I was like caught off.
It was like, it obviously, my guess is you didn't see this coming. So when you look back, where you're like, maybe I should have seen a red flag in this relationship somewhere that alerted that something was drastically off between you two.
When all this dropped back in 2021, whatever, I was literally in shock. Like, I was literally so just surprised at like what was being said, because it came from nowhere. In my opinion, I was like, this is literally just pulled out of thin air.
And how many men feel like that?
Yep. And once again, we have to assume that everyone's going to believe the woman and figure out how to do damage control.
Yeah. Chat, Pearl Reed. Love you, Pearl. You need guests. You are a fantastic debater. Johnny says history is reminiscent of Jodi Arias. Do you know who that is? And
Yeah.
Travis Alexander.
Jodi Arias. Yeah.
Jodi was not going away quietly. Who's that?
There was a case involving Jodi Arias. I don't know the whole thing, but it was a case like a couple years ago.
Okay, Pearl, once Pandora's box is opened, the hunger will never die. Fizelle, another round of guys with no balls. What a shocker. Can't wait for the next soy boy to come forward and whine. Kyle, all I know is in this certain predicament is that it's a simp that fails to realize his mistakes, and a woman who is a straight up whore who cannot see she might as well open up an OnlyFans. Do you guys find her attractive? Can you put a poll in the chat if you find her attractive?
And it was
put would or wouldn't.
It was literally just as shocking to me as it was to everybody else on the internet.
What was your initial reaction
Just
to
real
Jack?
quick, Pearl, so Jodi Arias is a woman who was convicted of deleting her ex-boyfriend Travis Alexander in 2013. So I guess she took him out while he was in the shower.
Oh,
Arizona.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
She was convicted of first degree.
Oh, wow.
And got life in prison without parole. Telling you
Did you-
guys, women, they're advocating for life to be just as unfair. So you're going to see more women getting worse prison sentences, getting all that stuff. This is what they asked for.
Reach out to him. What did you say? What was that conversation? There was nothing?
So I haven't talked to him and literally since our last trip to Hawaii together. The last time I literally saw him was before I got on my flight, and we haven't talked since that
So
day.
what was the delay between that video? When did that incident, when the like quick rope supposedly, when did that come out versus when it happened?
Wait, I don't understand what you're saying.
Like, so that video was...
that video, when was that filmed? Like, what day, like,
Oh.
when in the year was that filmed versus when it was posted?
So that was filmed in November of 2020, and the claims or the tweet was posted in June of 2021. And then now it's February of 2020.
Okay, so we get that. I want to move on to her response.
Like,
Okay, let me see. Where do we start? It's start it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this response was literally like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So her YouTube channel was quiet for like 2 years. And then she comes out with this.
Wow, 62% of you guys don't find her attractive. I thought it'd be higher than that. No, I mean, look.
You got to factor in the craziness.
I know, but I've seen, guys, you know how women will cap about the men that are interested in them? Men cap about the women they wouldn't. They're like, no, I would never.
But think about this, Pearl.
Look, at 5 drinks in on a slow Tuesday, he might.
But once again.
Like, sometimes I've seen guys and they'll show me like women they've dated or whatever. And I'm like, you did that? I'm like, she's like 40 pounds overweight. What are you doing? Like,
I assume that I've been moderating the chat a long time, and I assume that I assume the best about the chat. There's a lot of intelligent men in there.
Yeah.
And most of them are cost-benefit calculators, right? So you're talking about what you smash, but they're thinking about what I smashed and have to deal with the consequences afterwards. So that's why I think it's at 62%.
Okay. I'm deep in the red pill, so no, she's not attractive.
See, there it is.
Hi. So, this video, we're just gonna chat. And I've been thinking about making this video for like 3 years. And basically what I'm gonna do is summarize my last 3 years being canceled, the trials I went through, my relationships, my basically trauma and shit that happened to me.
There we go.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, Pearl. I knew you'd catch that right away. But my trauma.
It's fun. Men, when they have trauma, it's always like they tell you, guys, you ask them what they're going through and they'll tell you the most depressing story you've ever heard ever. And women, it's the people on the internet don't like me. They left me in comments or I got dumped.
Yeah.
Someone told me a story the other day about how they got like ran out of their home country. Like, it was insane. And okay, we'll keep going.
And talk about it and talk about my, I guess, story and my testimony. And I think for a long time I avoided this because it's really, it gets hard, especially when you live it and you feel it so heavy. You don't want to like talk about this shit. I mean, I do talk about it, but with like my boyfriend, my parents, my family, and my closest friends. Like, for the most part, I want to, be a happy person, be a positive person, try to see the light in the world and the light in people. But I also believe that for my situation, especially, I haven't addressed anything on social media, and I think that in absence of me vocally, like, just talking about it casually, people have made up stories about me, people post stuff about me that is just like, it's just kind of, honestly.
Would you give her credit for going dark, Pearl? Because you could argue that if she would have been talking this whole time, it could have just made it worse. Because she went dark for like 2 years. Do you think that was a good idea or a bad idea?
I think she should have did a video. You know what? Okay, so what I found when it comes to social media is everyone wants you to shut up, right? And that's kind of what you try to do. But I actually think Dave Portnoy has been really smart. Every time he has an allegation, he pulls up his phone, gives his side of the story, moves on, business as usual. That's probably what she was canceled pretty hard though. No, I think it would have been better if she just did this video, didn't get the lawyers involved, said her side of the story, and moved on, let people argue about it.
And then just ate all the opportunities, leaving. I mean, I guess she would have lost and got canceled anyway. But
The problem is when people are famous for just existing, they don't have a business as usual to get back to.
that's 100% true. That's true.
So like if she was, let's say, like a political commentator, I would have just responded, moved on. Dave, it's like he does celebrity gossip, whatever. So when he's in the news, he says, look, this is the allegation. That's not true. Believe what you want. I'm moving on, business as usual. Crowder, same thing. When the divorce stuff came out, he said, look, this is it, but I have my show. These people are just famous for being famous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say for her, that probably was the best situation because she had not like talent. She just did dancing videos on TikTok. And
the best example of what you're talking about was you're too young to remember, but when those allegations came out against Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
You know, the Lakers, he kept showing up to basketball games and he was just winning. Like they went on like a win streak, and that's how he dealt with it. He just won the whole time.
Yeah.
So he had basketball and he was able to do his craft while he was going through it. But you're right. Like what could she possibly do if she gets canceled off of TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, like I guess for her it's a little different, but if she had some sort of show or something she was like, I don't know, even if she used that to like start a podcast or something, I don't know. I would have just given a statement and moved on. Like I think the longer you wait, the more it drags out.
So would you said that even if she lost all of her brand deals, she should have made a statement and then just kept posting and tried to rebuild after that?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan to me.
You think?
I mean,
better
than going dark for 2 years, right?
I don't know, like,
but
the problem for her is she didn't have anything other than existing. Like that's why I'm getting stuck in this, because she doesn't have anything to go back to, because her fame, it was a hype house. It's like reality TV.
Yeah.
When you're canceled on reality TV, what do you do?
And then also, I mean, because the best argument you could make for her going dark is she was young, and like social media women talk too much anyway.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if she would just Brittany rendered it and said her truth the whole time? It would just gotten even worse.
I'm sure it was better for her mental health, but I was just thinking, it's tough because you don't want to say anything that makes it worse, but I've found in social media that the quicker people respond, at least you can get the response, and then people are arguing like for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like where like if she did this 3 years ago, then both sides would have been like, does that make sense? Like where now it's kind of blown over.
I'm not even angry at it.
But you guys can let me know. Actually, make it a poll in the chat. Make it a poll. Should she have responded back then, yes or no?
I'm just like, okay. Like, it's just kind of like, that's what you think. Like, you don't know. But
Pearl, whenever a woman says literally a lot with long pauses in the sentence, lying, and woman speak literally means I'm not lying. Whenever someone's vocabulary tells you that they are not lying, they're definitely lying.
I guess my point in talking about the last 3 years and how I got to basically where I am today is for somebody watching this that is depressed, is anxious, is going through something, and feels like they're alone. Because I felt like I was alone so many times the past few years, and I felt like nobody could understand me really, and nobody could really understand my situation. But as I listened to more podcasts, and as I listened to people's stories, people's like documentaries, and
oh my God, get to it, lady.
kind of realized that. So in 2020,
there we go.
I was a sophomore in high school, and this was when COVID was kind of starting, but also nobody knew if it was like a big enough deal yet. Like everybody still kind of thought we were going to go back to school. As we started to do online classes and stuff, I had a lot of free time, obviously, because I was no longer in dance since COVID was happening. We were doing online dance classes, which took up like 99% of my free time otherwise. And I also didn't have school. So I had a lot of time to just kind of do whatever, as did everybody during this era.
She gets to it faster, and go to her YouTube page and go to the 9-minute video because she gets right to it.
Oh, okay, the 9-minute. The first one.
Yeah, so the talking about the Jack Wright
Okay.
situation. Yeah.
Last week, I posted a video about what it was like to be canceled as a teenager. And honestly, that video was one of the...
A man could never make a video like that. What it was like to be falsely accused, or he would just get too much backlash.
And the thing about it is, because she put this on TikTok and YouTube, and people are like, "Oh my God, she was innocent." It's like, wait, what? So she's actually getting sentiment now. If you look through the comments.
Yeah.
Most important and vulnerable videos that I've ever shared. Always wanted to address the situation with Jack Wright and all of those allegations that were made, because I think in absence of me ever like verbally talking about it, there have been so many narratives made up about me. I took like 6 months off of social media during that time, and I mean, people thought I went to jail. There were literal newspaper articles that I had killed myself. The craziest things. And now I think I can speak about it much more gracefully without like defensiveness and anger, because I was a teenager at that point. I felt so frustrated at all of these people, at all these narratives that were basically claiming my truth for me. So today I'm going to be debunking some of the things that people comment on my account and just clearing things up. I have never really defended myself on my platform, but I have worked so hard for this platform, and I want to stand up for myself, honestly. I also just posted like a 45-minute YouTube video explaining the whole story time with Jack, our friendship before any of the allegations, what actually happened after and like during that time, and then my testimony to Jesus. And
you knew that was coming too. You knew it was coming.
Of course, the God phase.
Just how I honestly came back from that and how I've found resilience and built my brands and yada, yada, yada. Okay. I've said this since the beginning when all these allegations were made when I was 17 until now. I've always been innocent. I've never been to jail. I've never spoken to a police officer about the situation. I've never been on any kind of registry list, and people like to really argue that I went to jail at some point, but arrest records are public, and I can promise you I have not. Get why people bring up the video, the proof, but I think you can manipulate anything to be out of context. So I'm gonna explain the whole video for you. This video was taken 7 months before Jack and I's friendship ended, before they made those allegations, before he put out their tweet, whatever. We were friends for another 7 months afterwards. So the video was filmed on Snapchat by his brother James.
So they're talking about where he's supposedly laying on the couch and he's touching him.
I mean, I dealt with a guy who was accused of rape and had 2 kids with the woman after, and they gave the woman custody because she claimed she was raped on the first night.
Guys.
And she proceeded to have 2 children with him.
If a woman makes an accusation against you, it has to be over right there. If you're with a woman and she calls the police to your house, it's over right there. Right, you have to stop it right there. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Stop what?
The relationship.
Contact. Yeah. Duh. Oh my God.
There are certain lines that if they're crossed, if it's out of the bottle, it can never be put back. If you're married and the woman says divorce, even to her just saying that, it's over.
You know what? There was a guy in London I knew he was married for like 20 years, and I would tell him about the red pill stuff. And he he's like, I don't really know what you're talking about. His wife falsely accused him of rape. So he was married to a lawyer. He was one of the trainers at my gym, and he was married to a lawyer. Kids are older. She starts working, and she falsely accuses him of rape because she thought that he was cheating. Turns out he has a twin brother. Like he literally has a twin brother.
Mhm.
And the person that like their mutual friend saw him, the twin brother with, they thought it was him, but it was his brother.
What?
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm a twin.
Yeah. So imagine if they saw imagine that you and your wife, like you're married to a woman and there's a mutual friend who says, I saw your husband with this woman, and she thinks she has no reason to lie, and she seems very convincing. Now obviously the false accusation bad, but but that's not the point of the story. So she yeah, so then the friend tells the wife, and the wife believes the friend. The husband's like, no, I'm not doing that. Da, 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 da. Turns out it was the brother on a date.
So how'd that situation get resolved?
So she dropped the charges, and they were trying to work. I don't know how it is now because I haven't talked to him in like 2 years, but they were trying to work it out. She went to the police and said she lied. Like she did the charges and then she went back and said she lied.
And I guess you can do that in London because there are times where they have it now, especially with a lot of DV laws, where it's not the person doing the charges, it's the state doing the charges.
Yeah, it is.
Because I had a friend who was younger. He married a single mom, and then they had 2 kids. And the child that wasn't his was a daughter.
Yeah.
When she was 15, she's messing around with this older boy, and she's like, I'm gonna go see him. And he's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. So she's like, I'm gonna call the police and say that you did something to me. So she did. He's like, do what you gotta do, but you ain't leaving the house because I want to protect you. So she called the police because she just thought that the police were gonna scold him and say, you can't keep her here. No, they put handcuffs on him and took him to jail. And she couldn't believe it. It's like, wait, I was lying. They're like, oh, honey, it's okay. You're safe now. So the daughter went to the judge multiple times and said that she was just lying, but he had to go through the whole process. So they kicked him out of his house. And he was the sole breadwinner. So he had to get an apartment, and so pay rent there, pay for the mortgage there. And it took about 11 months for the case to get resolved, but he couldn't go to his own house. And the daughter was telling the judge multiple times, I was lying, but they had to go through the whole process because the state made the charges, not the girl.
Yeah, I think at that point, like they dropped it somehow. I don't know, but I know they dropped it. And the last I talked to him, she was basically begging him to not divorce her, and like she was like he just said, yeah, she has been on like very good behavior, like because she was
That's the same thing with this guy. He said the only good thing that happened with his stepdaughter. Before she did that, she treated him like absolute garbage. But then afterwards, she was a complete angel.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that like because he was a Muslim and that she.
What?
Yeah, no, he was Muslim.
And she was Muslim too?
Yeah.
What?
No, that's why the Muslims that say like they don't have the same problems. I'm like,
Oh,
bullshit.
man.
I lived in a Muslim area. That's bullshit.
Oh.
Like, and they married super young too. So, but that was like when the kids were like teen. I think his youngest was like 16 or something, like older. But she said he could get a second wife. Like she wanted him to stay so bad. She's like, look, you can go get you can get a second wife. Just please don't divorce me.
Do you think
I don't know.
You should have stayed with her? What do you guys think? Or what do you guys in the chat think?
I don't know, because she could always do it. Well, I think she could do it again.
Because once she crosses that line, she could do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you guys in the chat think?
I don't know.
Should he have stayed or should he have gone?
I think last I checked, they were in separate like living situation. And it was interesting because he said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like he was so blue pilled.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was interesting too, because he started dating after that. Like he started dating
with a wife.
Yeah, because he was Muslim. So like his wife said, you can go get a second wife. And he's like, I will.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, I fucking will.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to him how like the women are different now. And it was funny to like watch him go through it because he would date like women. He was maybe 40s, 50s. He would date women closer to his age, like 30s. And he would talk about how their standards would be so much higher and they'd be so much worse than like a 19-year-old. He's like, the 19-year-old's just happy I'm there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She's
give them some shish kebab and they're happy.
Yeah, I know.
In November of 2020, Again, 7 months prior to them ever posting anything about me or using that as their proof. We had just gotten back from like a bigger party, and we were at another party with people all around us, and we were both drunk and making out the entire night. He was introducing me as his girlfriend at the party. We were like holding hands. It was like, I was so confused. I go more into that on my YouTube video about like the what were we, what weren't we, and how he kind of used me for clout and didn't actually want to date me in the YouTube video. I'm not really going to go into that here. But this is one of the nights where he decided that he was my boyfriend and we were making out and whatever. So his brother James filmed it on Snapchat. And this is what I mean by the context thing. He filmed it on Snapchat and he sent it to our friend group with the caption, like the bar or whatever, that was like, oh, they're so annoying, like making out again or whatever. They're so cringy. He sent it as like oh, they're so annoying, they're making out again. Mind you, this was his brother that filmed it. And I don't know how more people don't think about this, but if I genuinely was like sexually assaulting him in this moment, why would his brother film it? They're both like 6'2", 6'3", like they're big guys, 180 pounds. I'm 5'2" and way less than that. If they wanted to come remove me off of him, he would have. But like that didn't happen. It wasn't until they needed proof multiple months later.
Yeah, but the law protects them, so they can't necessarily remove you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, consent is consent. You know, he could withdraw consent after the fact.
At any time.
After the fact, right?
That they then had narration over it. They made it out of context, and they basically just made me look like a bad person when the initial feeling or vibe of the video was like, oh my gosh, they're making out again. This video was manipulated to make me look a certain way. And after all these years, I've just realized the people who want to see the truth and want to hear you out will, and the people who just want to hate me, they will. And I can't convince everybody. Also, my lawyer hired an independent.
I don't know. I think if she did this at the time, it would have been better, because this is going to get like 2 million views, I think, tops. His got 23 million. If she posted this 3 years ago and just said, these are the facts, believe what you want, these are the facts, I think it would have done a better job defending herself than like 3 years later.
And she probably could have made a better case based upon what she's talking about now when it first happened.
Yeah.
Now it kind of sounds like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Video forensics expert. And basically we were like, would this hold up? Like, would this hold up as proof in a sexual assault case if we ever had to take it to legal justice system? The guy literally laughed and he was like, absolutely not. Like, this is not proof of a sexual assault.
I think
but once again,
women have used less and gotten more.
And
what is it, that judge? I mean, it was like a story from 25 years ago. The Supreme Court Justice.
Oh yeah. Was it Neil Gorsuch?
Kavanaugh?
Oh yeah,
Kavanaugh. Yeah.
Kavanaugh. Remember, the court of public opinion doesn't need evidence. It doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't need to be based on anything credible. You suffer the consequences regardless. And she's talking about, oh yeah, would it have stood up in court? It doesn't matter in the court of public opinion.
And if the lawyer is saying, if a team of lawyers is basically saying like, no, this will not hold up as proof, I think that is in itself enough. I mean, it doesn't really matter if like the 13-year-olds on TikTok disagree. I get this question a lot about why did I not sue for defamation? And there are two main reasons why. The first one, it takes years to resolve defamation cases. And also on top of that, in the state of California, it is extremely, extremely hard to win because a lot of times
what she's missing out on is it costs money.
Yeah. Well, I think
have the money.
I think that's part two.
Yeah.
Can argue free speech. The second reason why is because it can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to go through with these cases. And in all honesty, I could not afford that. So
that's what they said about Johnny Depp. They said Johnny Depp probably spent more on his case than he got.
Than he won.
It was literally the principle of it.
I really do believe that the truth has a way of surfacing, and when you live in the truth and when you live in light, and I think I've lived a life of growth, and I think resilience is the best proof of who I am and of what happened to me ultimately. And honestly, this was always just about the court of public opinion for Jack. He never had the intention of addressing anything legally. And when my legal team reached out to his after he posted his video, they literally had no idea that he had even posted this video. Honestly, the sad truth is that anyone can say anything online without proof.
Yeah, and you're right that this is the only way that it's going to stop, is because now she's saying what the men are saying.
100%.
She's saying, hey, anyone can say anything online without proof. You know, that's why, oh my gosh, I get so irritated with the tradcons when they're like, when really the solution to feminism is more feminism. That is the only solution. You can't repeat, like, there's no repealing the 19th. And if a YouTube rep is watching, I wouldn't even want that. I would not want that at all. There's no removing women's rights, and I wouldn't want to.
See YouTube growth.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
really, but the conservatives will always say, like, no, you can't do any of it back to them. Like, be nice, but you're right. Now she's complaining. It's going to get way more attention than if a man complained.
And
yeah.
remember, the tried and proven thing is I've seen plenty of women where they're all for these female tactics and stuff until it happens to their brother or their son, or a woman will find a good guy to marry, but he already had kids. And he sees what he goes through with his baby's mom. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Or they have to warn their son about women like them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Proof, and people will believe it. And especially with like AI now, things can be doctored and narratives can be changed and they can make screenshots of anything. And it's honestly just really scary. People made this out to be a crime, but there was no crime ever committed. And this only lived on social media. America's justice system is founded on innocent until proven guilty. But I've noticed that a lot of the younger generation likes to think that it's guilty until proven innocent. And
who does she sound like right now?
Man.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
People just like a good story. And I've seen a lot of people mention about like what Tana said a couple months ago regarding like Jack's character and how he kind of is like a different person online than he is in person. To be honest, I've always hoped that people would see through those eyes and that it's not always what is presented on the outside that is true. I try to have as much grace as possible here, especially when talking about him. But if I'm being honest, even when we were friends, he's always been very strategic. He's always been very calculated. He's a manipulative person. He is very self-serving. Like he climbed me. He climbs people to get to the top, to get more clout, to get more views, to get whatever he needs from them, and uses them while he can, and then discards. And that's exactly what happened to me, but I didn't stand for that. I was like, I'm not gonna let you walk all over me like this, and I'm done with our friendship. And that's why he had his friend post the initial tweet about me, and they shot first. I addressed that in the YouTube video way more in depth. How he used me, and I was like his fake girlfriend and his cover, and then I decided that we were no longer friends, and that's how this whole thing started. He literally told me, and I included screenshots, sorry, Sienna, it's not good for the brand to end our friendship. And I was 16. Thank you for remembering these videos. After he posted all of his allegations and made everything about me, he deleted all of the TikToks with me to basically sway public opinion and make it seem like it was super one-sided. I was posting all these videos with him. Meanwhile, he had nothing up. But I included a lot of these videos in the YouTube video that I just posted, and it is genuinely insane. Even I forgot how affectionate he was to me, and vice versa on camera. I was like, how? When you take away context or manipulate what people see, it's a lot easier to tell your side of the story in that way. Since this happened years ago, I received like thousands of DMs.
Currently 22 and went through something similar at 16 and 19 to the point I deleted all my social media and have scar makeup that are visible enough. I covered them up with tattoos. My life is better.
Messages from people, girls specifically, who are going through something in their life that they don't feel like they will get out of. And if I, somebody who went through this so publicly, can speak about it and offer encouragement of like, you will come back and this is not the end of your story, then that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, but for men, it usually is the end of their story. It takes them down.
In the long form video,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it, but she actually says that she regretted that one video that she posted because it minimized what was going on with SA victims and stuff. So she took accountability for that cringe video that she posted.
Bed all day. We dropped Sienna Swim on June 11th of 2020.
I want to see the videos of them together. Oh no, that's the new. Is that the new boyfriend? I think that's a new boyfriend.
If you go to her TikTok and her YouTube, if you go far back enough, you'll find it. But you got to go back like 2-3 years.
Shorts, okay.
She literally has a video called "I Love Jack Wright."
Is it on TikTok or YouTube?
I think it might be on
YouTube.
Oh no, it's on TikTok, I think.
Okay. Let me see. What do you guys think in the chat? Is she innocent or guilty? Can we do a poll? I like the polls, innocent or guilty. Let me read the chat on the website. She is young, horny, and got shit for brain. Pearl, would you sue if your siblings were smearing your names with your relatives for 50 years, causing them to stop talking to you without asking your side? Would I sue? No, because I know that's like obviously what men go through, but like lawsuits are just so expensive because I mean, there was even a point where I considered one with some people that said stuff that was untrue about me, but it's like the amount of time that you have to go through to do it and money and to get what, especially if they're broke, like what are you going to get? Money that they're never going to pay. Yeah, I guess you could clear your name, but I mean, Conor McGregor just got guilty in civil court of rape. You don't even know if that's going to happen. I'm trying to see the old videos.
At the bottom of the document, I found a TikTok that you can use.
Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay.
That's a TikTok.
Oh, there it is.
It's long as you twerk, yeah. She for me. So darling, twerk for me. Oh, twerk.
And then the YouTube video below that.
See, oh, but she burned like room on fire.
Oh, she was saying too, when he said she broke into the house, she was saying that it was actually that there was a code that everyone had. So people would just go in and out like all, because that's kind of how the hype houses are.
And fast and angry as she can be, I walk my days on a wire. It looks ugly, but it's clean. Oh, mama, don't fuss over me. Way she tells me I'm hers and she's mine. Open hand or closed fist would be fine. The blood is rare and sweet as cherry wine.
She's cooked forever. Whoever dates her after, she's cooked. This is way too much excitement around a relationship and attention.
Well, she's with a guy right now.
Yeah, but it's gonna be cooked.
Calls of guilty thrown at me all while she sings the wheels of some other thrown at me so powerfully, just like she throws with it's a crime.
And could this go back to the fact that women don't know how to take rejection and don't know how to take L's? Because I do believe that he said multiple times, "Look, I don't like you like that," and she just kept trying and trying and
Yeah,
trying.
and I bet sometimes, he kind of gave in and was like making out or whatever.
Because if this was a guy trying to say, "Well, he was showing," they'd be like, "Whoa, you should have known better, man."
Yeah, like if no means no.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's not around most of the time. The way she tells me I'm hers and she's mine. Open hand or closed fist would be fine.
Tisk tisk, my 11-year-old nephew sings better. Okay, well, I mean, I think that the government really shouldn't be in those relationships. I think it's kind of an over exaggeration. But since women asked for this, we got it. Congratulations, we're treated like men.
Do you think the court of public opinion is always going to be a thing? What can make it better? What can make it
No,
worse?
I think now it's getting harder. Like I think the truth is coming out more now than ever, where you see like influencers being found out for being fake. You see like even like the top comments on the Nala woman for her TikToks are a lot of men like calling her out
Throwing
on
her
the
out,
B.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are smarter than they were in the past. And because women talk too much, our tricks have been revealed. But I don't know. I think it's just going to be more male and female content. So the women will believe the women and the men will,
Yeah.
I think it's just going to keep going.
What would I guess just for sake of conversation definitively like what would you if a man were to be falsely accused, what do you think would be like his first couple of steps? Would you recommend that? Like, what would you recommend? And then
After getting falsely accused.
yeah, so let's say you're like a social media personality and false accusations were to come out. Like, what would and he would say, "Pearl, I'm being falsely accused. What should I do?" What would you think? What would you say to the guy?
I want to say this is my opinion. This is not advice. This is my opinion. You can take this or leave it. I think men should defend themselves and bring out the receipts. I think it depends on the situation and what evidence you have, but you need to be compiling evidence as you're dating women that everything was consensual. So I have a friend who balanced a lot of women in London, and the way he avoided false accusations is he'd always get a text the day after saying, I had a good time. He's like, you have to make sure you like call them back because you have to understand the psychology of women that women tend to falsely accuse when their reputation is on the line. So a lot of times when women get caught cheating, they falsely accuse. When women look like sluts, they falsely accuse. So you
When
want
they feel like they're gonna lose something like
not get
big
called
time.
back.
So if they feel like they're gonna lose their career, their kids, something significant to them.
Yeah, so you have to like kind of play into that psychology. And I mean, I'd even recommend if you want to ghost a woman, instead of ghosting her, cry in front of her to get her to leave. No, because if she gets mad, like you don't know what she's going to do. So it's kind of better to get her to leave rather, than dump. And I think men kind of figure this out on their own. But I think you should defend yourself, I like bring out the text, bring out the receipts. If she's, if she's willing to throw you under the bus and go public, like I say, do it back.
And then if a female content creator that you were friends with came to you and said, "Pearl, this person could be man or a woman is falsely accusing me of something," what would you say to her?
I'd say the same thing.
Same thing?
I think defend yourself, let the facts come out and do it right away and move on. That's all you can do. I'm not saying I'm right. I very well could be wrong. I know a lot of lawyers will tell you not to talk, but I think Dave Portnoy, like, he always would say that all the lawyers would tell him to shut up, don't respond. And he would just give the facts and go back to his show. I think that's the best you can do. It's the best you got.
So you
But
say the David Portnoy method where when it first came out, you literally turn your phone on and try to get your story out there along with the initial narrative.
Yeah, as fast as you can. Smart. You have to think through what you're gonna say, but
There was actually a kid that was a drum major at Jackson State University,
Mm.
and he was in Target looking for a lamp for his dorm room, right? And this girl turns on a video and says, "This guy is following me. He's a creep." And the guy's like, she's like, "Why are you following me?" He's like, "I'm trying to get a lamp."
yeah.
It's like, You've been following me for all these different aisles or whatever." And he's like, she's like, "Leave me alone." So then he said, okay, he turns around. And so she puts that out there, and then right away he makes a video, and he's a respected drum major at JSU, so the whole community defended him. And this girl
Yeah.
had to take everything down, but he put his identity out there like right away, and
Mhm.
his whole support group, like the whole school and everything,
Mhm.
came to defend him.
And it's better too. Like, I would always get dirt on women that you're dating that she knows she doesn't want to come out. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some secret that she does not want to be public. You don't even have to say it, but if she knows you have it, she's going to be less likely to do it. If she knows something, like, and you got to be non-judgmental too. Like, you can't, like, ask her personal questions. Don't be judgmental. But if she knows you know, she's going to be a lot less likely to do it.
Women get upset, and they don't think about the future when they get upset, though.
Well, I mean, that's when you go and defend yourself, you know?
That's
I mean,
true.
that's all. I'm not saying it's foolproof. Like, you might not win. That's the best. Based on what I've seen, that's the best you got. But, I mean,
Makes sense.
life isn't fair, you know? Okay, anyways, do you have any final thoughts for the show? I think that's really all I got today.
I'm going to sum everything up. Guys, I want to see more cases like this. I want to see more women paying child support, more women paying alimony, more women falsely accused. I want to see more police judo throwing women around and putting cuffs on them. Everything that men had to go through historically that women put them through, I want to see the same thing happen to women. Because this is what they asked for. This is probably the fourth time I've said it. Things will never be equal between men. No, things will never be fair for men. So equality with women means them facing everything a man has to go through, like their lives being as difficult as men. So guys, press charges. I'm just
Yeah.
press charges, and enough women have to go through this for them to realize that.
Yeah, you're not fucking around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny says consent document checklist. I mean, we had a PI on the show, and he makes women sign a document before hooking up with them. He says, nope. He said, I'm not playing. Kenny says, this is not financial advice, just my opinion, how financial people on the internet protect themselves. Look, I don't want anyone to come back and say, Pearl, this didn't work. Look, this is my best. That's my opinion.
Yeah, she only said it because I asked, not because anyone solicited her for advice.
It's just like HR wars. I had to learn too late. Whoever goes to HR first wins. So any report on weird behavior of women to HR, if you're a man, do not wait and fight for yourself. Yeah. That's my ex-wife, took $19K, and I kept the house because I was going to take alimony from her. Fight, fight, fight. Yeah. I mean, there's...
Be first.
But if you guys want, actually, Terrence Popp sells a course called Administrative Violence on how to use the justice system against women that they use on you. He says it's immoral, but not illegal. Anyways, like the video on your way out, guys. Thank you so much for coming today, Doug. And thank you to everyone on the website for supporting me. 1 yearly membership supports every show. So if we get 1 yearly membership, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video on your way out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.